All right, welcome back. We've got Jasmine Kyle in studio this morning from the SEK Humane Society. And we have a story. I know we talked about this several months ago.
Yeah.
Almost a dozen puppies dumped in a river system.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what we call, those are the river pups. So the kids came into us during the pandemic time where everything was a little crazy for everybody, where we were at full capacity within 24 hours as families were trying to do on figuring out as they were losing employment of, do I feed my kids or do I feed my dogs, right? Mm-hmm. So during that time when we were at full capacity, we got a phone call early in the morning about a woman had seen that these dogs were being thrown off the river system. So she immediately started to drive in, was able to rescue 2 out of the 12. And then we immediately started to drive down, and our staff spent the whole entire day fetching these adolescent red heeler dogs, about 7 to 8 months of age, from the river, completely terrified. So it took us all day, and there was one missing, and the lady thought that she had miscounted, and I actually woke up the next morning, I was like, there's something wrong, and me and my husband went out, and sure enough, there was one underneath a log system. So we have now spent a year and a half with those kids trying to get them built up and to reestablish themselves as dogs, because again, that is not only a traumatic experience. They were terrified of water, of course, for over a year, but we don't know their prior experience too, which unfortunately was probably traumatic, to say the least, if that individual was able to do that to them, which breaks our hearts. What does fill our hearts with joy is that a majority of those dogs have been adopted. Mm-hmm. Out of those 12, we have 3 remaining, and there are harder cases. That is Hopper, that is Asher, and that is Eden. All 3 years of age now. Fantastic dogs, but very still scared, and that's why I don't have them here today. It would not be the best. They would be panicky right now, and that's the last thing I want to do for those kids.
Bring them into this environment with bright lights.
These kids need patience. They need love. They do fantastic with other dogs. So what we are looking for Asher, Eden, and Hopper for is a long-term foster home with another dog in particular, because they really bond with another dog. What we have seen out of every single adoption case with the other river pups is that once they bond with that dog, they will mimic that dog and start to watch that dog with the family and know they're safe. And I'm not kidding you. The other river pups that have been adopted are love bugs. They are in your arms. They will make sure they pay it forward 100 times because, sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. These are the dogs that absolutely deserve it. All of our shelter dogs do. But with these kids and what they have went through, they deserve it. They really do. They're so sweet. And when people come in and they pass them by, right, because they're to the back and we have to explain to them why, I don't blame them. You know, it's that traumatic experience that they hold with them, and it's no fault of their own. A person did that to them. So for us at the Humane Society, what we will do with them is work with them with other dogs. We will go into their kennels and read with them. They get special treats, but what they need right now more than ever is to leave our shelter and go into a foster home. Mm-hmm. So with our fosters, with Kansas Department of Ag guidelines, have to live in the state of Kansas and be about 30 to 40 miles from us. That way, if there's an emergency, we can take the kids back. We will provide everything. Food, blankets, toys. If you are running low when you are fostering, we will hook you up. We will give you everything. If you provide the love and time for that dog to start to work on those trust issues and really bond, that's everything. And you do not have to foster to adopt either. We'll get that where, we'll get attached. And I know it's hard. That's the hardest thing for a foster. I've been a foster for 8 years now, but it pays its way forward in leaps and bounds.
But if you eventually decide to adopt, you can.
Exactly, yeah. So even while you're fostering, especially for these cases, when you are doing long-term foster to adopt, so maybe you're fostering, getting the hands of it, but if you see that connection, you're like, yeah, this is our fur baby. Talk to us. We can absolutely do that, because when fostering, they're not available as of yet at that point in time, especially for these 3 river pups. And we would love, especially for the river pups, for their own fosters to adopt them. If they can't, we understand, but we would love that, because those kids are going to make that deep connection with your other canine and with your kids in particular.
Are the other river pups in foster homes right now, or are they adopted?
Yeah, so the other, besides Eden, Ashton, and Hopper, all the others are adopted. They had the same situation where they went into about 1 to 2 months of foster care. The same thing happened. 1 to 3 weeks, they were really off guard. guard, you know, a little scared, went into and really bonded with the family's dog. And then after those first 4 weeks, that's when they went into the family, and that's where they were able to start working like a normal dog. It blew my mind because here in Pittsburgh, we'll see some of the kids out in the street that have been adopted, and there was one of the river pups walking with the family. I was like, oh my gosh, he's out on the street, he's enjoying life. It's amazing. When you walk by those kennels, you would never guess that a dog can be like that. And you just have to give them a chance. You just have to open their heart and be patient with them and give them kindness. And I am not kidding you, it will pay its way forward. Please give them a chance.
Okay, so you can sign up to be a foster online, or you can give you guys a call, recap your hours when you're open?
Yeah, so we're currently open on the weekend, Saturday noon to 4, Sunday from 1 to 4. But if you submit a foster application or adoption application, we'll call you and we can set up for an appointment for almost any day of the week for you.
All right, sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.